You guys know you want to touch me. Touch me here, touch me there, touch me all over the place. Okay, with the inner perfect context behind us, what is up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Frosty R&B, Nintendo Let's Player, Nintendo Twitch streamer, Nintendo 100% completionist on Twitch. Today I like to showcase my DS collection. Now I've had the Platinum DS, the original one that looks like a Game Boy Watch console, along with a broken hinge of a DS Lite. Yeah, the DS Lites were not made very well. I hate to say it. But what's interesting about the DS though was it was backwards compatible with the GBA. GBA games meaning Game Boy Advance. But it took out the backwards compatibility with Game Boy Color and Game Boy games, which the GBA supported, but DS doesn't support it. There are so many different models of the DS. Got OG DS, DS Lite, DSi. I think those are the main components, and a bunch of other stuff. And it did first introduce the Nintendo Wi-Fi service, which is totally shut down by now. And also, it supported a really cool function called the download. I think it was called download play, which the 3DS still holds, but it's not really used as much as the original DS, which is kind of interesting. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, I do play everything on DS and 3DS related on this console. It's amazing. This is the 3DS XL, new 3DS XL. So there's that. Just a fair warning, you have been warned. This video will contain a lot of different opinionated opinions of mine, of course, but it's mostly looking at 100% completionist aspect. So your opinions, your ideas, and your opinions are definitely going to vary. Feel free to disagree with me if you choose to do so. However, let's get to the collection. So today, we're starting off, this is Animal Crossing Wild World. Now, I didn't really play this game as much because my sister's the one who's the owner actually, but she really enjoyed it, and surprisingly this game, yeah, I dropped the game. Yeah, surprisingly this game has Wi-Fi, which I never experienced. My sister barely experienced it. No one in the neighborhood who had Animal Crossing, but they did took out the NES games, which was in the GCN, but they have a lot of interesting Nintendo furniture. So there's that. Next up, we got Chrono Trigger. I literally just streamed, not this version, but the Super Nintendo version not too long ago. But if I were to say, in my personal opinion, ladies and gentlemen, get the DS version, please, because right after I streamed Chrono Trigger for the Super Nintendo, amazing game, by the way, it's, in my personal opinion, the DS adds a lot more stuff. It has a quest. Know that you could play multi-card play, which is interesting, but they add a lot of stuff to this. And Chrono Trigger is a very, very well-known Squaresoft, aka Square Enix now, as a very well-known JRPG game. I've only played 3 hours of it, so I can't say too much of it. Now, you can't have a collection without being very disappointed. And Diddy Kong Racing DS, while it's fun to most casual players, I'm a hardcore Diddy Kong Racing fan. Like, I played the original one for the 64, perfectly run smoothly, but for whatever reason, they added these stupid touchscreen challenges. Yes, touch me on the screen if you choose to do so, but the touchscreen challenges, the balloon pop, it does not work. If you're trying to get into the Diddy Kong Racing game, I don't recommend this port. It's not because Conker and Banjo's not in it. I do not care. It's sad to see them go, but that's not the main point what I'm judging the game. It's very dumb what they added. Now, we got Golden Sun, Dark Dawn. This is a very, very interesting JRPG game. Why? It's a downgrade from both the original one, the Golden Sun one for the GBA, and Golden Sun: The Lost Age for the GBA, which was widely claimed to be the best. But this one, it's a solid game. If you don't think this is a Golden Sun 3, you should still be able to enjoy this game. They added a few elements in the game where you're playing as the protagonist's son from the previous game in this game. And I keep saying in this game a lot, but that's not the main point though. So I do recommend it. However, it's not a starter game to get into the system. Do you have the magic touch? As Kirby asks. Kirby's Canvas Curse. I recently did get this. I got it actually for a very good deal. Canvas Curse, if you watch the commercial for this game, it's very, very questionable, but it pretty much is a very gimmicky Kirby game. I personally like it though. So it's pretty much Kirby, it's pretty much ball Kirby throughout most of the game. You do have copy abilities, but it's a little different. You're using the stylus the entire time, which at first I was very questioned and I was kind of stressed that touchscreen controls weren't going to work all just for this game without like any like button commands, but it works very well. I approve of it. Now, if you didn't like Kirby's Canvas Curse, Kirby's going to attack you because this is Kirby's Massive Attack, or Mass Attack. Very, very late release game. And if you guys didn't know, some of the DS cases, especially the older ones, have like the GBA card slots. I highly recommend those to you store your GBA games to do so. I personally think it's more convenient. But Mass Attack, think of it as like Pikmin and Kirby fused together. In my personal opinion, this is one of the harder Kirby games on the DS because you gotta micromanage like crazy. But maybe that's just me not being good at the game. So, take it candy sugar. Alright, we got Squeak Squad. Now, this one plays exactly like a traditional Kirby game. I personally think this is probably the weakest in the Kirby DS series because it's just, I don't know. There's something about it that didn't really suit me well. You do get to explore and find treasure chests, like the Great Cave Offensive and Kirby Superstar, but I think this one's personally, my personal opinion, is one of the weaker titles. I know a lot of people love it, but it's not really for everyone. Now, this, in my personal opinion, is the best Kirby game on the DS. Kirby Superstar Ultra. If you guys kind of guessed, it's a remake of Kirby Superstar for the Super Nintendo. They added I think they added like 2 extra modes in this game, and the True Arena is ridiculously hard. I would claim that this is probably the second most difficult True Arena difficulty in the entire series. Well, the first one definitely goes to Pallet Row a lot, but needless to say, foil cover. This used to be going on sale for all the time when I was in high school. $19.99 plus tax, Seattle, Washington, $22.01 as of this recording. So it's a little crazy, but it's a collection full of like Kirby Superstar minigames plus a lot more features. Highly recommend it. Now I got Phantom Hourglass, Zelda, all stylus controls, works very, very well. Very surprisingly, this is a very, very chill Zelda game. Like, I know most people are going to say, but Frosty, how is that possible? Zelda's all about intense action. Oh, play this game, you're going to be so surprised how chill it is. It's like, you do a lot of backtracking in this game with the Temple of Ocean King, but I think it's okay because it's kind of like, it shows you exactly how well you've progressed and how much you've grown as a character, how much you've grown with your utility and such. But I do recommend this game, but definitely not a starter game. I know a lot of people can't get into the Zelda games on the DS. This one, in my personal opinion, is the weaker one, but I don't think it's that bad. So if you enjoy the Wind Waker series, I highly recommend both of these. However, Spirit Tracks, you really, really have to be patient with this game. Travel method is very questionable. It makes the sky look way worse from Skyward Sword. But this one, I'm not into the whole train track limited transportation. But it's still a very solid Zelda game, though. Now, the Legendary Starfy, the very first Starfy game North America has ever seen released outside of Japan. If you love Kirby, I recommend this game. And don't be fooled, underwater controls in this game is actually very, very solid. So definitely get it. It's very cheap these days, so, and it's made by Nintendo, of course. Now, we get into the Mario games. Mario Hoops 3-on-3. Of course, it's Basketball Mario. I do like the character selection song. I mean, it's really catchy. But it's Mario basketball mechanics, just super moves and all that jazz. There is like Square Enix references in this game, if I'm not mistaken, but that's like until like when you get closer to the end. I think I would say like 75% into the game, but my memory is going pretty bad. Mario Kart DS. Do I need to talk about this game? I mean, this is a staple where everyone used to play this online until Mario Kart Wii came out. One of the best Mario Kart games ever. This one added mission mode. So they assign you various like missions, and then you accomplished it, and then you take on the boss. It's really good. And they had Rod the Robot of all characters, which is kind of interesting. Now, Mario and Luigi Bowser's Side Story. In my personal opinion, this is probably the best Mario and Luigi game in the series. Oh man, heck, after playing Dream Team with this game side by side, this is definitely the more definitive game for sure. It's pretty much like you're inside Bowser's inanimate body, you're inside Bowser's body, and you get to explore the anatomy of Bowser, which is kind of interesting. Very disturbing though. I never looked at Bowser the same way ever again. After how much trans fat she's consumed in that game, holy frickles. Now, Mario and Luigi, Partners in Time. In my personal opinion, this is probably the weakest in the entry. Mostly because of the piggyback riding with the baby system. So you're you're managing 4 characters, but some of they have bro items as items. Or bro combos with items. I don't understand that. This one returned to using special points for bro attacks, like combos and deliver massive damage. This one uses items, and it's the most linear game in the entire series. And you thought Dream Team was linear? Well, Partners in Time destroys it. That's not a bad game. It's just probably the weakest though. New Super Mario Bros. Traditional 2D Mario game. Now this was a very, very good successor until they started abusing and like remaking or rehashing this particular game into like the future next 3 releases, and then Mario Maker came out. But this one's a very solid title. They're very hard to go back to because of Mario Maker, but it has multiplayer games from Super Mario 64 DS, so. Alright, we got another foil cover. This is Metroid Prime Hunters. Now this game hurts when you play long periods of time, because it's a first-person adventure where you have to keep using your stylus to keep moving around, checking your camera, checking your surroundings, and after longer periods of time, your hand starts to cramp. Luckily, I am ambidextrous, so I can use both hands, but after like half hour each hand, it really gets... my hands feel super numb after that, to the point where I can't really contract any more muscle movement after that for a long time. Alright. Disclaimer, these are the only Pokemon games I have. I have 5 of them, but I'm going to start with these ones because technically this generation is Gen 4. Diamond, Pearl, Platinum. These 2 are pretty much the same exact game except version exclusives. Very shiny cover artwork, and of course, the worst versions to play in the entire DS series because they're not only too slow, you move slow, the battle and animations are slow, but also you do a lot of backtracking in the entire series. I'm sorry to say this, but Generation 4 pretty much ruined the Pokemon series for me. I only played mainly the spin-offs now, but this is the generation where it introduced like physical and special move split. So meaning like Bite will now be considered as a physical move and so special. That's fine written on paper, but then all the Pokemon they used in Generation 3, such as Sceptile, have been all nerfed, and I just kind of stand it. Like, this was the time where dragons were utterly broken, and I would not go to, like, there's not even one match where I've never seen a trainer use Garchomp, Salamence, Flygon, surprisingly sometimes Altaria. Garchomp was always a big wrecker. But yeah, that's just, I just gave up. I mean, to the point where, like, you know, you either like Pokemon to keep going or you stop. Generation 4 is where I stopped. And Platinum is the definitive version of these two. It's a battle mechanics, but it's a really cool cover artwork, and they did add the Battle Frontier. So there's that. Generation 4, I just stopped. But Heart Gold and Soul Silver, I love these games to death. Even though I despise the new battle mechanic system, these two were their Generation 2 remakes. If you guys know me, I love Generation 2. Pokemon Gen 2, in my personal opinion, is the best and one of the more balanced quote-unquote metas of the Pokemon series. Gen 3, in my personal opinion, is the best one, but Gen 2 definitely comes to a solid second close. How you see that? Gen 2, second close, ha ha ha. Anyways, but this one lets you actually, whatever Pokemon you have slot in slot 1, they will follow you in the overworld. And this one, if you had, most of these copies did come with the Pokewalker accessory. I sold that to my great friend, by the way. These games are amazing. Like, if you want to get into Pokemon series, try get into these ones for DS. I highly recommend it. So, that Rhythm Heaven, very, very interesting. Very, very wacky, too. So, these ones are, I would say, there are better versions out there. This one's like the first one that came out, and then the Wii pretty much remixed most of these mini games. So there's that. I would say this is a great game. And by the way, I forgot to mention, in Pokemon Soul Silver and Heart Gold, the manuals are like very, very, not like, they're not glossy. They're actual paper. So there is that. Well as the forgot to show off. The Heart Gold and Soul Silver cartridges are all black. While the regular ones, like Gen 4 stuff and Sinnoh, they're all just regular cartridges. So this is where they stopped doing the colored cartridges, which is kind of weird, but I forgot to show those off. So there's that. Now, Star Fox, come on, stay away from this game if you're a Star Fox fan. It's pretty much a strategic planned game where you control the ship. You have to plan out your attacks. You have to plan out a lot of like RTS kind of style. It doesn't work with Star Fox. And not only that, there's too many endings. That making that game very, very difficult to 100%. Alright, we're getting into Super Mario 64 DS. The only manual that I know for sure on top of my head that has like horizontal kind of like way where you like read some of the stuff. Interesting. Remake of the legendary Super Mario 64 for the 64, of course. They added a lot of new challenges, probably like 25 more stars, so 150. And you could play as Yoshi, Wario, and of course Mario's in the middle, and Luigi, of course. Luigi is so broken in this game. However, this is my version to play the Super Mario 64. Now we get into Super Princess Peach. Don't judge me. I know you guys are judging me. Very... I don't want to get in trouble for saying this, but like it pretty much uses emotions very well in this game. Because you're playing as Princess Peach and Mario gets kidnapped by, you know, who other? Bowser. But there's a lot of sexual innuendo in this game. You'd be very surprised. It has a lot of like the graphics remind me of Super Mario World, but very solid game. And we get to the very last game, Yoshi's Island DS. Personally, not my in my opinion, this is the worst Yoshi Island game of the entire series. Yes, I know people are gonna argue against me with New Island, but come on, guys. Enemy placement is really bad, and not only that, this is made. I think Artoon was the industry that actually helped make this game, and enemy placements is just oh my gosh, enemy placement is just very, very unbearable to handle. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is my entire Nintendo DS collection. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys 5 games that you should start with this collection. In my personal opinion, your ideas and interests are gonna definitely vary. But hey, I mean, take a can of sugar, of course. So of course we're gonna go ahead, and this is all non-edit and this is all shoot in one take, of course. So you're definitely not gonna see me like pull any like funny strings, of course, onto this. But hey, I mean, you have the DS, so there is that. Oh right, I already got like 3 games. Sometimes it's a little weird to choose which ones you want to go with. But yeah, if you guys can't tell, most of these are like pretty much RPG and platformers, which DS is like known for that. All right. Okay, I can't tie between those two. Yeah, sorry, it's taking a little while. I'm probably just gonna have to edit this after all. I'm gonna go ahead and put this one, of course. No, not that one. As much as I hate to say it. This is a hard one to pick. I mean, I'm having trouble picking the 5th one. All right, I guess. Yeah, it's really hard to choose a 5th one. All right. All right, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. So these are the 5 games that I picked for you guys to start with your DS collection with. New Super Mario Bros. Traditional 2D side-scroller Mario game. What else can I say about that? Mario and Luigi Bowser Inside Story. Very, very phenomenal RPG game. Highly, highly recommend it. And there's a remake of that for the 3DS called Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser Jr.'s Minions, I believe. I think it's Bowser Jr. Minions. I don't remember. Now, I did say that this game isn't really good for starting out. However, it was either between this one or Chrono Trigger. So I kind of ruled out Chrono Trigger because I never finished it. But this one's a pretty good one to start with. And then Kirby Superstar Ultra. Very, very... anyone could get into this game. Like, Kirby is so simplistic. This is the most simple, traditional Kirby game you could get for the DS. Now, Squeak Squad, on the other hand, the main reason why I ruled it out is because not many people are going to like the exploration, but Ultra is very straightforward. And then, of course, I am so biased, but sorry to say this, ladies and gentlemen, but Heart Gold and Soul Silver. You see Lugia and Ho-Oh clashing, pick your version. In my personal opinion, Soul Silver is the way to go, because I grew up Silver, but Heart Gold will not let you down either. The main reason why is because these are fantastic Pokemon games. Diamond and Pearl are too slow, in my personal opinion, for people trying to get into the Pokemon series, but Platinum is good too, but I had to rule it out because this one has way more content compared to Platinum, in my personal opinion. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that's my entire DS collection. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, subscribe. Sub is always for free on YouTube. If you guys really want to see, not these games, but my other gaming collection video, games I already showcased, live on Twitch, definitely hit that follow on Twitch. It's also for free. And you guys can engage with me on live, of course. So, all I gotta say, guys, is stay chilly, keep gaming. I'll see you guys in the next one where you don't touch my butt on my DS.